and they weren't even married. So here's what she writes in the book. He was gone for what seemed like a long time, but my bag was right there. Run home, grab it, come back. But maybe he had to wait for Aspen, or maybe he had hit traffic, or maybe he was buying me flowers. I didn't have a book, so I was in labor and bored and grumpy because my husband was taking so long. When you go into labor, you expect dad to rush around. It's a big deal, but maybe he didn't need to rush because it was our sixth child or because I was in the hospital. He'd been incredible for the home births. Grumpy or maybe lonely, unimportant. That's my memory of the time before Kody arrived. The camera crew followed Kody that day, too. He rushed home to Robyn. He needed to check in on, I don't know, the kids, her feelings about my labor. The crew filmed him kissing her. I was in labor, and he let them film him kissing his girlfriend. I found out only after I watched the episode, and it gutted me. Their premarital kissing was still hard for me, but the timing felt particularly inappropriate. I was scared about the hospital birth because I'd only had home births and I was 38 and I was worried about something might go wrong. I loved Dr. Bean. He had already helped me through so much. So that was one aspect of her birth that she found really frustrating, and he never told her about it, and she found out about it off the show when the show aired. And this aspect of the show is a focal, it's a replaying theme throughout her book about they never spoke about things that happened that they filmed about. And so Christine wouldn't know what Kody was doing when he was being filmed. And then she would find out later when she watched the show what he said or what other people said. And these situations created arguments. And then those arguments created dialogue for the producers to dig in and create more drama. And that fostered a lot of mistrust in the family because she felt like she was being deceived and that it was inappropriate and that he was withholding information. Another thing that she got really upset with him was when Kody talked to the Dr. Bean about Mary's fertility. And she said Kody decided to talk with Dr. Bean on camera about how Mary had struggled to have a child. When Mary saw the episode, she lost it. We all know the deal about focusing in on the wife in labor. And also, please don't talk about my fertility issues without me, right? And I was trying not to flip out while on camera having a baby. Wait a minute. I'm here in labor having your child. I don't think it's the right time to bring up Mary's infertility issues. Why don't you and Mary schedule an appointment with Dr. Bean and come in later to have that chat? Focus, Kody, focus. A lot of times throughout the book, she's so sensitive to how Kody treats Mary, and she's really empathetic to the fact that Kody was very mean to Mary and very insensitive. She has a very conflicting relationship with Mary because on the one hand, she sees the impact that Kody has on Mary and all the abuse that Mary's going through, but then she also is feeling the wrath of Mary because Mary's taking it out on her and her kids. And so on the one hand, she feels such empathy for Mary, but on the other hand, she's like terrified of Mary and Mary's mean to her. And I'm sure that's a complicated place for her to exist. It's a mind F if you think about it. But one example of how he abandoned her was when we got home, Robyn took Truly for hours and I finally got some sleep. I was grateful. I asked Kody to stay with me for an extra night because I was exhausted. I still needed to take care of the kids, but he said he didn't have the time. 2 weeks later, I had to start taking them back and forth to school. So when Truly was born, he refused to spend an extra night with her, despite on the show saying that he always spent extra time with the wife that had the child. He didn't. He left her after the first night, and then he was only there every fourth night. Then he went on a honeymoon with Robyn, and she went through postpartum depression during that period of time, and she felt abandoned and completely neglected. In the same time frame that he's putting together this wedding for Robyn, she has her baby. And Christine makes clear that the courtship with Robyn and Kody only started after they had gotten the show. And they had already been working on a pilot episode for a show about a man with his wives and the world of polygamy, a show that had been pitched by Tim Gibbons, who initially brought it to HBO. They declined, and then TLC decided to pick it up. And at the same time that they were looking for a network, Kody meets Robyn, and then he propositions Robyn to join the family, and then propositions her to say, hey, do you want to have our courtship be featured on the new series? And she was down with it. It almost kind of felt like, if you weren't paying attention, he was specifically looking to bring someone in for a storyline, but I digress. But while she's got Truly as a baby, she's going through postpartum depression. Kody then starts spending almost all of his time with Robyn. He would come over, she said, at night, and then he would actually leave her house to travel back to Robyn's house to tuck Robyn's kids in bed and then come back to her house. Meanwhile, when she asked Kody to do the same for her when she was working, he told her he couldn't because he was too busy. So Robyn demanded things of him that the other wives didn't get. And when they asked for it, he would not give them. And, you know, there's so many of these stories that are weaved in that the show just made it even exacerbated the situations more, because Christine was then able to watch what he was doing with Robyn and what he wasn't doing with her. And then her kids saw it too on the show. And then that made them feel even more neglected. And by the time they were in Vegas, the kids didn't feel like they even had a dad. His neglect of Truly was pretty obvious. Anytime she needed help with Truly, he would just say he was too busy. And he didn't often even refer to Truly as his own child, sadly. And if you remember, it was season 6 and they were going to do a recommitment ceremony. And Christine writes about this season a lot. It's a big focal point of the book. And she even says that when they were going through the ceremony, she didn't even believe the words she was saying. She didn't think she was even going to stay with him. She was pretty sure their marriage was over. And she said absolutely nothing changed after that commitment ceremony, which she again felt was all for show and completely fake. But a part of that season meant that they had to go dress shopping. And it was when they were in Seattle looking for dresses that Truly got really sick. And she says that before she left to leave for Seattle, Truly had been just sick enough to take her to urgent care, who said she probably had the flu and sent her home. And then she went to Seattle because she had to under contract for the show. And Aspen calls her and she writes, Truly is sick. She